Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Malayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Hari Om. Salutations to all. So we are seeing here the portion of Brahmatmana Samsthitihi, abidance in Brahman. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan are the means to that. The direct means, the Jnana Sadhana is Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. Listen, reflect and contemplate. So when a person does steady contemplation, then the Dehatma Bhav, the Viparita Bhavana that we have, that subsides, and the person gets established in the self through the experience of Samadhi. So Samadhi Abhyas is very, very important to destroy the Dehatma Bhav as the feeling that we have that I am this body. Our identity comes from this fact that I think I am this body. So even if intellectually one knows that I am Brahman, but the feeling is still I am the body. So the behavior will be still like that. And how will this feeling go? This goes only when the person through steady contemplation experiences Samadhi, where one transcends the identification with the BMI. This transcendence of the identification with the BMI and experience of complete stillness of Samadhi, when a person practices again and again and gets into those states more and more, that is called Samadhi Abhyas, and that brings Atmanishtha. So now from 354, what is Samadhi, what is its impact, who can get into Samadhi, those aspects are explained now. Ajnana Hridaya Granthehe Nishesha Vilayastada Samadhina Vikalpena Yada Dvaitatma Darshanam. Ajnana Hridaya Granthehe, the knot of the heart, which we know is ignorance, desire, action. Avidya Kama Karma. This is called the knot of the heart. And so the complete destruction of this, Nishesha Vilayastada, complete destruction of this can happen when Samadhina Avikalpena, only with Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What happens in Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Advaita Atma Darshanam, when the non-dual self is realized. So that is the meaning. Now one by one. Ajnana Hridaya Granthehe. So Ajnana Hridaya Granthi. So avidya, ignorance of the self, makes us feel I am this finite entity. False identification with the BMI happens. When that happens, then there is sense of incompleteness. And then when I feel incomplete, to become complete, I want to experience many things, enjoy many things through desire fulfillment. So each one as per their vasana will seek desire fulfillment. And this desire fulfillment, to do, I have to act. So karma also will happen. So avidya, kama, karma, and every karma will give a finite result, which will not bring fulfillment, which will leave a craving much more. So that craving adds further to the vasana, desire. That cycle continues. Now the root cause of this is ajnana, ignorance of the self. Now how will ajnana get destroyed? Ajnana can get destroyed only by jnana. And which is this jnana? This is jnana is not intellectual knowledge. Intellectual knowledge, if it was able to destroy this ajnana, by now everyone would have been realized. Because intellectually we know we are Brahman. With a little bit of reflection, that conviction comes that I am Brahman, I am not the body, mind, intellect. But the dehatma bhav is there, that doesn't go. So one still lives like that, as though I am a Jiva. That can go only through the intuitive understanding that arises through Samadhi only. That cannot go in any other way. No matter how many books one may read, how much talks one may give, whatever discussions one may have, that is not going to remove ajnana. That can help to increase the conviction. If the conviction increases, one should be able to sit quietly and withdraw the attention from the BMI. That samadhi abhyas will give rise to intuitive understanding that I am that pure consciousness. That destroys this. So ajnana hridaya granthi nishesha vilayastada, without leaving any trace. See, if we transform selfish karma to selfless karma, that is one preparation. Some traces of selfishness will still remain because ego is still there. Ego is a product of ignorance. So till ignorance is not removed, full selflessness is not possible. Complete freedom from desire not possible, because the desire is still there. In samadhi, the withdrawal happens even from the desire, even from the attitude that I am the meditator, I am meditating upon something else. So the duality of that also goes in nirvikalpa samadhi. The thinker, the thought, the thinking, all the three stop. That is called nirvikalpa. Samadhina avikalpena. No thought at all. So somebody may think of no thought, that means it is a state of blank. So he says, no, Advaita Atma Darshanam. There is the experience of the non-dual self. So till this samadhi experience doesn't arise, this ignorance cannot get destroyed. So when we say that darkness is removed by light, there it is physical darkness, external darkness, which is removed by external light. Can the external light remove the darkness of the intellect? Suppose I don't know something at the intellectual level, so I'm ignorant about it. Suppose I don't know physics. Can a matchstick and the light created through matchstick remove that ignorance of physics? It cannot remove. For that I need intellectual level of light. So I need knowledge of intellectual level, of physics at intellectual level. So physical darkness removed by physical light. Intellectual darkness removed by intellectual light. Now spiritual darkness removed by spiritual light. So the spiritual darkness is what? I don't know who am I truly. Intuitively I feel I am a man or a woman today. Till that feeling doesn't come for self, intuitively that I am self, this ignorance will not go. And how will I get that feeling? I will get that feeling through samadhi. Which means I must learn to sit quietly and withdraw the attention. If that I cannot do, I can only keep talking and reflecting and discussing. Experience and the real transformation, that will not happen. It will only be either increasing the conviction, which further should lead to samadhi, ability to sit and withdraw, or it is just vain arguments for the sake of boosting the ego, that I know this many scriptures, I have studied so many commentaries, I can give so much great pravachan. That will go in another direction. Instead of ego becoming lesser, it will become stronger. So samadhi is inevitable, because see, many people they think samadhi is only in yoga shastra, one, or they think that I, as a Vedantin, I just need to know I am Brahman, that's all. I don't need samadhi because my true nature is already that. So why samadhi is required? Not required. No, but Vedanta is very clear. Samadhi abhyas is required. Is a wrong understanding of Vedanta. In fact, samadhi, if you see, is there in all the paths. Without samadhi, realization is impossible. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa will just listen to the word Kali and he will go into bhav samadhi. Some bhajan will be going on, he will go into samadhi. He saw his disciple Mahendranath, who wrote gospel, the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Mahendranath was folding the shawl in such a mindful way that looking at him folding the shawl, Ramakrishna went into samadhi. Seeing the cranes fly, first experience of samadhi he had was seeing the cranes fly against the backdrop of uh, the dark rain bearing clouds. So white cranes, dark rain bearing clouds, he saw that he was going in the fields and suddenly he saw that scene, went into samadhi. So bhakti also has samadhi. Remembering Bhagavan, one goes into samadhi. Jnana also has samadhi. Withdrawing from the BMI, one gets into samadhi. Yoga also has samadhi. Dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Samadhi is the last step in yoga also. Ashtanga yoga culminates finally in samadhi. So samadhi is inevitable. There is no way that one can realize the truth, be established in the truth without samadhi. And hence he says here, samadhi, samadhina avikalpena. Only with samadhi, this root cause which is ignorance can be destroyed. Because it will bring intuitive knowledge, not intellectual information. That intuitive knowledge, when it removes ignorance, then kama becomes nishkama and karma also becomes nishkama karma. There is no binding after that because ego is destroyed. Root cause ignorance gone, false apprehension, the ego is gone. The rest of it, prarabdha will take care of that body, actions will happen. But no ego, so no new karmas, no new vasanas, nothing. That person has advaita atma darshanam. He has the experience of the non-dual self. So this is one important aspect, that samadhi is not a state of blank. Samadhi is state of complete perception of that supreme self. Now, what does not allow us to go into this samadhi? And though it is our true self, this buddhi is something that creates duality. Let us see. 355. Tvamahamidamiti kalpana buddhi doshat prabhavati paramatmanyadvaye nirvisheshe pravilasati samadhavasya sarvo vikalpaha vilayamanupagatched vilayamanupagatched vastu tattvavadhritya. This is tvam, you, aham, I, idam, this, yam, that, iti kalpana, this imagination, buddhi dosha. It is because of the buddhi dosha, the flaw of the intellect. Prabhavati paramatmani advaye nirvisheshe. In that which is non-dual, this duality gets created by the dosha of the buddhi. Pravilasati samadhau asya sarvo vikalpaha. This non-dual self shines in the samadhi avastha. Samadhau asya sarvo vikalpaha. Vilayam anupagacche sarvo vikalpaha. All the dualities and the differences of I, you, me, this, that, vilayam anupagacche, that will all get dissolved. When? Vastu tatvavadhritya. When in the state of samadhi, the person realizes the essential nature of the self. Vastu tattva avadhritya. Now, what does this mean? Tvam, aham, idam, iyam. I, you, this, that. They are there because of buddhi dosha. Now, buddhi dosha means the buddhi, when it identifies with the mind and the intellect, sorry, with the mind and the body, then this notion of I is created. The notion of this I gets created when there is, see, when we wake up, consciously the intellect is functioning. So there is the feeling of I, you, this, that, meaning duality is there. When we go into the dream state, buddhi becomes dormant. So the subconscious mind projects. And the identity keeps on changing because the buddhi is not there. There is no control. There is no logic. There is no cause and effect. So it's a random mixture of impressions which gets projected. But in the deep sleep state, there is no buddhi. There is no sense of I, you, me, mine. Mind also has become dormant. So this I, you, me, mine, this, that, all these differences come when the buddhi rises. And this is sustained. So every time we come into waking state, we have the same notion that I am Mr. So and so. In the dream, that identity goes on changing because the buddhi is dormant and its subconscious mind projecting. Without any control, it's projecting random combination of impressions. But in the waking state, when the buddhi is active, then when the buddhi becomes active, then this strong notion that I am Mr. So and so, this is the world, this is my house, this is the work, that is there. Now, this functional identity is not a problem actually. When he says buddhi dosha, this I, me, you, this, that is a psychological division created where I think that I am only this much. I define my identity as I am only this much. I have these capabilities, I have these limitations, and I seek happiness from the world outside because I have created a division now. So this buddhi dosha creates first and foremost identification with the body and the mind. That brings the Jiva bhav. That Jiva bhav is called buddhi dosha. Now that Jiva bhav is there, the Jagat is separate, world is creator is separate. So till I have Jiva bhav, Jagat will be separate, Jiva will be separate, all the other Jivas I am separate, and Ishvara will be separate. Then I have attachment aversions. Some Jivas are mine, I feel they belong to me or I belong to them, then there's attachment. Or I need them for my happiness. Some Jivas are not. So then the attachment aversion will happen. One aspect is this, that how this buddhi creates the psychological divisions. And once that Jiva bhav is created, then time space also get created. So then waking state and this whole world outside becomes real. And this Jiva bhav, when it is there, if we analyze what is this ego, what is this Jiva bhav? This Jiva bhav is that which continues to live in the bundle of memories of the past. Ego is a bundle of memories. If we define ego in the present moment, without any association with the past, we cannot define the ego. Because in the present moment, ego does not exist at all. It thrives on the past memories and future anxieties. If one can go away from the past memories, psychological memories I'm talking about, not functional memory will still remain, but psychological memory, which means regret, pride, all those things, hurt, memory of joy, memory of some good experiences, because it's the memory which creates desire in us. If it is a favorable experience, memory will create desire. If it is an unfavorable experience, memory will create pain and fear. So ego thrives on this memory. So ego thrives on the past. All the definitions of oneself are all related to the past. If I remove that, if I detach from that, all the past associations, in the present, there will be experience of only infinite reality. And it thrives on the future, desiring, planning, scheming for happiness, going here, doing that, becoming this, achieving that. So it thrives on past and future. Now this ego is there only because of this buddhi dosha. Now this buddhi dosha is removed only in samadhi avastha. Till the buddhi is active, jiva bhav is active. Till jiva bhav is active, finitude is active. Till finitude is active, world is real, God is real. This is a sequence. Now every time we go into dream, deep sleep, the buddhi becomes dormant, but the dosha of the buddhi doesn't go. When buddhi becomes active in the waking state, again it starts with dosha only. So we start again from where we left. And this same thing will continue even after death. We again start from where we left. So same jiva bhav continues in the next life also. It's just that according to the karma, the body, mind, intellect will be different. But jiva is same. Now how will this buddhi dosha go? In human life, this capability is there to use the buddhi to go beyond buddhi. In other lives, there is no such capability. In other yonis, in other births, there is no such capability. There, the instinct-based exhaustion of karma will happen. Impulsive life will be there. Intelligent, conscious, speeding up of evolution does not happen there. So, in the state of human life, we are able to use the buddhi to withdraw from all the false identifications of the buddhi through steady contemplation of the self and through negation of who I am not. So, prabhavati paramatmani advaye nirvisheshe. All these doshas are actually imagined by the buddhi in the non-dual self. Prabhavati paramatmani advaye nirvisheshe. Kalpana is the word used. Imagined. Like the rope is imagined to be the snake. See, the rope has not produced the snake. The rope is only appearing as the snake. The waker has not become the dreamer. The waker is appearing as the dreamer. Is the imagination of the dreamer. Sorry, the waker is imagining and the dreamer is created. The dreamer is an imagination of the waker. In the same way, in the non-dual self, this entire entity, finite entity, is an imagination. Prabhavati Paramatmani Advaya Nirvishesha. The Paramatma is Advaya, non-dual, but the imagination is of the dual. I am like this, world is different, God is different, that is duality. So in the non-dual, the dual is imagined. In the Nirvishesha, where there is no special qualities or uh, where there is no attributes, this ego with attributes is imagined. Because of what? Ignorance. Please remember, buddhi dosha is born out of ignorance only. I don't know who am I. When I don't know who am I, then this jiva bhav, etc. has got created. So that is the imagination. When I don't know the snake, when I don't know the rope, I see the snake. So this buddhi dosha is because of ignorance only. And because of that ignorance and buddhi dosha, the non-dual attributeless self appears as the dual limited individuality with attributes. This now can be removed only through samadhi. So pravilasati samadhav asya sarvo vikalpaha. In the state of samadhi, what will happen? Sarvo vikalpaha vilayam anupagache. All the vikalpas will get destroyed. All the attribute, psychological divisions, uh, differences that we have created because of the buddhi, they all get removed. When one experiences in the state of samadhi, samadha vasya pravilasati, the self shines in samadhi. See, self is shining right now also. Body, mind, intellect are functioning because of the self. Then why samadhi avastha is required? Because the attachment to the body, mind, intellect doesn't allow me to experience this fact that I am actually that infinite self enlivening all the body, mind, intellects, and beyond that also. That I'm not able to experience right now because of identification with BMI. So though self is my nature right now, I still don't experience it. Detachment from the BMI is the only way, and that will be happening when one sits quietly and withdraws the attention. Then one realizes I am that consciousness. That is called pravilasati samadhav. In that state of samadhi, this self will become completely evident. Arey, I am this. See, this is language I am using. Limitation of language to say, Arey, I am this. It is an intuitive understanding one has, I am this. And when that experience happens, then what happens? Sarvo vikalpa vilayam anupagache. All divisions, barriers, all gone. Gached vastu tattva avadhritya. Vastu tattva will be experienced. So now this is the importance of samadhi. That the buddhi dosha of psychological differences will be there only as long as, it will be there till we don't experience the state of samadhi. So when people really speak about living in the present, truly speaking, living in the present is to bring the mind into the stillness and samadhi avastha, completely away from the past and future. Person will get into samadhi only. In the day-to-day world, we use that word living in the present in a very simple expression where we say, bring the mind where the hands are, fully absorb yourself in the work, don't be lost in the thoughts, don't be lost in imaginations and memories, be in the here and now. So if you are eating, eat mindfully, walking, walk mindfully, with full attention, without allowing the mind to wander. That's a good practice to do, which will finally lead a person to samadhi. If the mind is brought fully into the present, ego loses its existence. Person will go into samadhi avastha, will realize the truth. And this samadhi can happen through many, many ways. It is not necessary only to sit quietly and withdraw. That is one way. Like I said, Ramakrishna saw the birds flying. He went into samadhi. That is called drishyanuviddha savikalpa samadhi. When one sees something and the ego loses its existence in that for some time, one goes into samadhi. Then Shabdanuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, just the sound. So Ramakrishna, I told you, hears the word Kali or Ma, goes into Samadhi. So the mind is tuned in such a way that one sees something, goes into Samadhi. Hears something, goes into Samadhi. Or sits quietly and withdraws, goes into Samadhi. There are many, many ways to go into Samadhi. Drisha Vivek gives many, many methods of how a person can go into Samadhi. And so this avastha is an important avastha, samadhi avastha. For us, what is the practical implication? That even though we are students of Vedanta, we must sit quietly every single day, spend some time in learning to withdraw the attention from the body, mind, intellect. So before the samadhi abhyas, initially I have to practice upasana. Chant the name of the Lord or visualize the form of the Lord or focus on the chakras. There are many methods of upasana. Through the upasana method, bring the mind into a higher state, away from the body identification. Because when we remember Bhagavan, his attributes, qualities, or chakra, their colors, and many things, each upasana has its own logic, its own science, what it will transform that person into. So initially, through those, we have to withdraw the attention from the body, from the world outside. Bring the mind into a state of surrender and higher state. If upasana one becomes single pointed in the upasana, then samadhi abhyas will happen. Without upasana, samadhi cannot happen. And even if samadhi happens, sometimes samadhi happens in jada. That is called jada samadhi. That is, jada samadhi will increase the bhav that I am a jada vastu, or I am a zero. I am blank. That is not what we want. We want the experience of Chaitanya, pure consciousness in the samadhi. So the idol which one is worshipping, the bhav that the devotee has is, this is Bhagwan. So it is not a jada vastu. The bhav of Chetanatva is there in the murti. But when somebody uses a flame, the tip of a flame, or a dot on the circle, or a dot on the wall, the bhav is not that this is Chetan. The bhav is, this is jada vastu. I am using this to quieten the mind. So this I is strong, one. Two, the support is a jada vastu. So the buddhi becomes more dull. Instead of becoming subtler, it will become single pointed, but it doesn't become subtle. Both these are required, subtle and single pointed. Sukshma buddhi and agra buddhi. That's what Kathopanishad says. Drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshma darshibhi. Agra buddhi is single pointed intellect. Sukshma buddhi is subtle intellect. Now this sukshma buddhi and ekagra buddhi both are very crucial to realize the Atma. Because single pointed intellect will ensure that there is no distraction, no wandering of the mind. Vikshepa is not there. Ekagra buddhi will ensure that. But Sukshma buddhi will ensure that the false identification I have, that I am this Jiva, that goes through contemplation on this self. That self is the Chaitanya Swarup. So now I am talking about the Vedantic contemplation. This same thing you apply in Upasana also. If I use a dot or a tip of a flame of a candle, mind will become ekagra, but mind will not become sukshma. Mind means buddhi. Mana and buddhi will not become sukshma. So the bhav is of jadatva. I still think I am this inert body, mind, intellect. In samadhi, if I have used in upasana method this bhav of chaitanatva, that this murti or this shaligram or this shivlinga is that Shiva, the pure consciousness, the Ishvara, the creator of the whole universe. So there is a bhav of chetanatva in that. Those who say, I worship Prakriti, I worship nature only. Again they are saying, I am worshipping an inert power. When we say God is energy, again we are doing jada. God is not an energy. Energy is inert. Energy is convertible. Energy needs a locus. God is not energy. God is consciousness. So now see, these are things which we don't understand till we come to Vedanta. We can repeat many things just like people, when we hear from people. God is energy, God is power, God is, I don't believe in God, I believe in nature. These are all things that one repeats without thinking through properly. So if I have this understanding clearly that there is the ultimate cause of the universe, which is consciousness, and that consciousness, to realize, I need to go into Samadhi avastha. To get into Samadhi avastha, I need to practice upasana. So the upasana also, I should use a method which will connect me to the consciousness. The support must be a support which invokes this bhav of consciousness, not a bhav of inertness. So with the continuous abhyas of upasana, single pointedness, then one is able to withdraw from that support also. So from many, many thoughts to one thought, from one thought to absorption in the self. That is a journey. So without upasana abhyas, samadhi abhyas, not possible. So practical implication for us is every day I must sit quietly, learn to withdraw the attention from the objects to the body, and then from the body to the support I use in upasana, which will bring a bhav in me, which will invoke surrender in me towards a conscious force. And that upasana, as we keep doing, then one becomes ready for Shravan Manan Nididhyasan. Through steady Nididhyasan, one gets into Samadhi. So this is the sequence. Throughout Vivekachoodamani, we have repeated this sequence many, many times so that it should become firm and clear. This is the path. When we are talking about Jnana Marg, this is the path. Now, what are the qualities required to get into the Samadhi avastha? One is I spoke about Upasana, but the Vivekachoodamani itself will tell what kind of qualities are required to get into Samadhi. 356. Shantodanta paramuparata kshanti yukta samadhim kurvan nityam kalayati yati swasya sarvatma bhavam tena vidyatimira janitandha tena vidyatimira janitan sadhu dagdhva vikalpan brahma kritya nivasati sukham nishkriyo nirvikalpaha. So he says here, Shanto, the mind which has become calm, Dantaha, the senses which have become controlled, Param Uparataha, supreme ability to withdraw, and Kshanti, when there is Titiksha. Yuktaha, whoever has these four. Where have we heard about these four? Somewhere we heard about it. In this Vivekachoodamani only. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. These are what? Shatka Sampatti. Sixfold qualifications which are a part of what? Sadhan Chatushtay. Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutva. In those four, the Shatka Sampatti has this Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha. Four. So are the others not required? Or of course the others are required. But specifically these are required to get into Samadhi. And these four will be a result of Vivek Vairagya only. Without Vivek and Vairagya, how mind will become quiet? How his senses will get controlled? So definitely Vivek, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam are required. But here specific mention is there of this state because these are specific things we require to withdraw from the mind. See, Uparati, Param Uparati is written here. No? That complete withdrawal will happen only when mind has become quiet and senses are controlled. If my senses are still craving to eat, drink, enjoy outside, I cannot sit quietly for a few minutes also. Samadhi avastha to is something far away for me. Just think about it, even when we sit to do upasana, or even just we sit quietly, where the mind will take us. The restlessness of the mind, immediately I want to see something, take the phone, send some WhatsApp, see some TV, talk to somebody. I cannot sit quietly because senses are restless. Body becomes restless. You know, when people are put in jail, one of the reasons they are put in jail, it is not supposed to be a punishment. It is supposed to be a time for them to reflect on why they did the wrong thing. It is a corrective measure. It's not a punitive measure. But at some level, it is not possible that the level of thinking evolution only is low, that the that it is not possible to now sit and figure out what I did is wrong, why did I do, why did I cause harm to somebody. One is not able to think, one becomes restless. So they have to be doing something. So then some work is given. You go and do, cut some rock, build something, help in, taking care of the plants. Some work has to be given. So when we sit quietly, that capability of uparati comes only when these two are there, shama and dama. If senses cannot be trained, they are restless all the time. I can't sit quietly. And if the mind is gurgling with emotions, memories, regrets, future anxieties, is not quiet, again I can't sit quietly. Uparati will not happen because the mind will be trapped in memories, regrets, anxieties. So Samadhi Abhyas specifically needs us to have these four: Shanti, Danti, Uparati, and Kshanti. Shanti means forbearance. Just bear. Sometimes it is uncomfortable, body level. I'll give you one strange example. Swami Ramatirtha, I think. So Swami Ramatirtha, he was one day going by a train. He's a sadhu, doesn't have money, but he had to reach somewhere. So he got into the train. When he got into the train, the ticket collector came. So he asked him to show the ticket. The sadhu said, Ramatirtha Swami said, I don't have money. I am a sadhu. I am just going to such and such place. TC said, you cannot travel like this. So in the next station, he got down and he told Swami Ramatirtha also, you get down. And he said, you have traveled without ticket, you will have to pay fine now. You don't have money, then we have to figure out something else for you. But you have to pay the penalty. For the ticket, less travel plus the penalty. So both. So he took him and he said, now you sit here, I will go and find out what is your penalty. And he made him sit next to a toilet which was stinking so bad. Now he went, now his superior was not there, or he was waiting to talk to them, or he was in meeting. Something happened, we don't know what happened. But this Swami Ramatirtha is sitting there, can't bear the stink. He doesn't move out from there because that man told him, sit here, don't go anywhere. So what he did, he withdrew his attention from the outside, and he, even for some moments, he stopped breathing. The moment he did that, withdrew the attention from the world outside, body gone, breathing also he stopped, he went into samadhi. See what, that's why I'm saying, what can cause samadhi? If that person's mind is ready, anything will cause samadhi. The ability to withdraw is there, the person, he went into samadhi. After some half an hour or 1 hour, something, that man came, TC. And this Ramatirtha is in samadhi. He shook him because he thought that this man is sleeping. Where does he know what is samadhi avastha? He shook him, and then Ramakrishna came out of that samadhi. First experience of samadhi is like that, Ramatirtha. The TC told him, do this, do that. You have to serve for this 2 days. Something he told him. As a compensation, you will have to serve because you don't have money. Ramatirtha was happy. He went and served because he got experience of samadhi sitting in that place. See, so that is the power of uparati. Titiksha, how titiksha leads to samadhi. Uparati leads to samadhi, that we understand. But this is titiksha. How this titiksha also led to samadhi. He was bearing that stench, and then at one point he couldn't, so uparati, he straight away withdrew, went into samadhi. So sense control, mind control, withdrawal, and forbearance, four important things. Why forbearance is also required? Because Sometimes the samadhi experience is for many days on end also. The body must be capable of enduring food, water is not there. One is in state of samadhi, absorbed, body identification not there. Sometimes one, like Ramakrishna used to go into samadhi while standing. Somebody has to support his body, otherwise it will fall down. So his nephew Hriday used to sometimes support. Sometimes there will be a crack, not a crack, there's a small opening in his mouth when he's in samadhi. From there they will pour water to sustain that body. He is not bothered. So sometimes the body will go through pain, hunger, thirst, all bodily afflictions. And hence titiksha very important. So shanti, danti, uparati, titiksha. So he says these four, shanti yukta samadhim kurvan. That person goes into samadhi. Nityam kalayati yatihi swasya sarvatma bhavam. And in that samadhi avastha, one experiences the self, and then one sees the same self is everywhere when one comes out of that state. Tena avidya timira janitan. Through this experience of samadhi, avidya janita timira, the ignorance, the blindness of ignorance, timira is the blindness, avidya janita timira, meaning the blindness of ignorance and all the further imagination because of this ignorance that I am Mr. So and so, I am separate from the world, God is separate from me, this all imagination which are there. Tena avidya timira janitan dagdva vikalpan. All these differences are burnt in the state of samadhi. Brahma kritya nivasati sukham. And the person experiences the infinite bliss of Brahman. Nishkriyo nirvikalpaha. Free from any oscillations of the mind, nirvikalpaha. Free from any selfish actions, one experiences the absolute bliss of Brahman. Now this is the meaning of this shloka, and how this person who has these qualities alone can go into this state. If I do not have mind control, sense control, ability to withdraw and titiksha, samadhi avastha is not possible. So we should not think that these are only fourfold qualifications, sadhan chatushtay, vivek, vairagya, shatka, sampati, mumukshutvam, which is required in the beginning stage. And now I'm an advanced seeker, I've been studying Vedanta for so many years. That all is for beginners only. Samadhi avastha one is getting into only because of this. So what did I do to strengthen this mind control, sense control, uparati, titiksha? What did I do? Every single day I have an opportunity to strengthen this sadhan chatushtay, Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. So one should not ignore these and say, that is all in the beginning. Now so we are talking about Mahavakya Vivek and Tattvamasi and Jahad Vritti, Ajahad Vritti, Jahad Ajahad Vritti, all that what we learned before. That is there as an knowledge, it is there. But the Jiva bhav goes only through Samadhi. So every single day, control of the mind, sense control, withdrawal of the mind, and forbearance. Can I increase these? So many opportunities life brings to strengthen these. Like forbearance, titiksha, so many opportunities life brings. Weather is one opportunity, food is another opportunity. Whatever comes on the plate, eat. Titiksha, if I don't like also, I bear it, I eat it. Raga dvesha will go. Heat and cold, pleasure and pain, success and failure, praise and criticism, this will come, this will go. In the Gita, the word Bhagavan uses is agama paino anityaha. They come, they go, they are at a ephemeral. Tan stitik shasva bharata. Just bear them. Don't fret and fume on them. Oh, now it has become so cold. Oh, now it is suddenly raining. Oh, climate change has happened. Now what is going to happen? Global warming is so much. Don't worry. World will go on in its own track. If I can do something to ensure that my contribution is there to save the environment, that much I can do. Rest of it, what can I do? Bear, titiksha. If suddenly it is cold, it is cold. What can I do now? If I can take a shawl, wear it, wear. Otherwise, nothing, bear it. So every day I have opportunity to practice titiksha. Every day I can sit for some few minutes and learn to withdraw away from everything using one support system. Either upasana or nididhyasana, either of these. And uparati also happens when I engage fully in the work that I am doing. In Tattvabodh, the definition of uparati is svadharma anushthana eva. That if you engage in what you truly love, then our mind withdraws from everything else. So that is another way to cultivate uparati. Doing one thing at a time is the third way to cultivate uparati, where I do not engage in multiple tasks at the same time. If I eat, I only eat. If I talk, I only talk. Not that I'm eating while watching something, or I'm listening to some music and doing some exercise. No, one thing at a time. Then the mind is withdrawn from everything, fully focused in the present. So titiksha, I have opportunities. Uparati, I have opportunities. Danti, I have opportunity every day to practice sense control. Many things one can do for it. Nowadays they have in the phone they will show you how much screen time you are using. Control it. So then I'm using phone in a limited way. How much social media time you can control. That is sense control. So eyes can be controlled, what I see, what I should not see, withdraw from those things. What I should speak, what I should not speak, withdraw. Engage in the positive, withdraw from the harmful ones. What is good for me, I eat that. What is not good, I don't eat it. So sense control also can be practiced. And mind control, shanti. Instead of thinking ill of somebody or harming somebody or thinking of dvesha towards somebody, think about Bhagavan, think about the Lord, think about the goal that one wants to achieve. Focus the mind on that goal. And don't be lost in the regrets and the anxiety. So every single day there are opportunities to strengthen these four. And when I strengthen these four, automatically samadhi can happen anywhere, anytime, because I've trained the mind in that way. Now that doesn't mean that I don't sit quietly and exclusively practice withdrawal and nididhyasana. This samadhi happening anywhere, anytime is an extra thing. I should not think that, oh, that will happen anywhere, anytime, so I don't have to sit quietly. No, Uparama is written there. No, I should sit quietly and withdraw. Then samadhi abhyas happens. So one more, continuing this thought process. Samahitaye pravilapya bahyam shrotradichetasvamaham chidatmani ta eva mukta bhavapasha bandhaihi nanye tu parokshya katha vidhayinaha. Samahitaye pravilapya bahyam. Those who are able to keep their mind quiet in the state of samadhi. So meaning of samadhi is what? Dhi means buddhi. Sama means equal. Samadhi means to place the buddhi in that which is equanimous. Meaning dissolve the buddhi in the self. Dha means to place. Dha hita means to place. Samadhi. So to place the buddhi very well in that which is sama, which is equanimous, which is Brahman. Samam Brahma, it is said. Brahman is the most equanimous. So to place the buddhi in the Brahman, meaning to lose this, what was said earlier, na, buddhi dosha. So to lose this sense of I in that Brahman, that state of illumination, realization is called Samadhi. So it's not blank, it is realization. So Samahitaye pravilapya bhahyam. And when will this happen? When I have withdrawn from everything which is external. Please remember, when we say external in Vedanta, except true I, everything is external. External doesn't mean only the world I see outside. Body is also external to the self. Prana is external to the self. Mind is external to the self. Intellect is external to the self. Ego is external to the self. Self is the illuminer of all these. If I withdraw the attention from the world outside, body to prana to mind, intellect, ego, finally what remains is this. So that's what he said here. Shrotradi cheta swamaham chidatmani. This bahyam is the external world. Then shrotradi means the senses. Then cheta means the mind. Then aham chidatmani, meaning our ego. Reflected consciousness is the ego. Withdraw the attention from all these. Step by step withdraw. Te eva muktaha. Such people are free from what? Bhava pasha bandhe. From this bondage of this samsara, they are free. Na anyetu. Others are not free. Paroksha katha vidhayinaha. They will blabber their indirect knowledge. Paroksha, meaning they don't have aparoksha anubhuti. They have paroksha, meaning they can talk only about some other people's experience, or they can talk about what the scripture is saying, but they themselves don't have the experience. Paroksha katha bidhaina, meaning the importance of withdrawal is given here. See, every sadhana has its own mahatva. So when we are listening, understanding, and then when we share this knowledge, through that sharing of the knowledge also, the knowledge becomes more clearer, crystal becomes more strong in our personality, and we can assimilate it better and then live. So this is not to denounce that. The sadhana of pravachan, the sadhana of sharing, the sadhana of explaining or discussion, study group, this is not to denounce that. This is to say that if I don't accompany this with the withdrawal, with the capability to sit quietly and withdraw the attention, then I won't be free. Only those people become free who are able to withdraw their attention from all these to realize the pure consciousness in Samadhi avastha. So I may do Shravan sadhana, Pravachan sadhana, or I may write books, or I may write blogs, or anything I can do as a means of reflection, but that cannot be a substitute for sitting quietly and withdrawing. That's what this means. So more emphasis on this process of how to uh, withdraw, and every day spend some time in that withdrawal. That is this verse about. So for today we will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha.